Good afternoon, Acura Infiniti team. Hope you are all doing well. I wanted to take a few moments and add my thoughts on 2020 as well as 2021. By now, you all have seen the video that John put out regarding the end of year. I just wanted to kind of break it down and tailor it a little bit more specific to our two stores and run through some highlights, some areas of opportunity, and also celebrate our wins together as a team. So first and foremost, I just want to take a few minutes and just say thank you. This year has been extremely difficult when it comes to some of the challenges that we've dealt with. I've been doing this 19 years, and by far this has been one of the more challenging years that I've been in the auto industry. From COVID to our sales team learning an entire new one point of contact sales process, to some of the personnel changes that each of the stores have had to endure, and truthfully becoming and forcing all the employees to becoming more of a jack of all trades, meaning learning positions and roles that we know collectively have to be learned in order for the stores to succeed, but necessarily aren't in our job role. You all have done an absolutely fantastic job. I could not be more proud of the way that this team has embraced those challenges and have looked for opportunities rather than dwelling on the past and being self-loathing when it comes to those challenges. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate that. I'm excited for where we're headed in 2021. I do thank you all for your efforts in 2020. So where did we finish? 2020, how did we do? The numbers that I'm going to run through today are through the month of November, but I'll start on the sales side, kind of give an overview on where we're at. So through November sales, Infiniti has 47 new retail units. We ended up at 91 year to date for 2019. So obviously, it's been a difficult year for the new car market at the Infiniti brand. I'll go in later I'll speak a little bit later about where the manufacturer is going with our overall brand. But there is an area of opportunity to increase those numbers. At the Acura location, we are currently sitting at 205 units. We had 193 this time last year in November. So Acura done a very nice job with the new car volume. And again, we anticipate that to increase with some of the other new models and makes that are coming through in the next third and fourth quarter, the second quarter of next year. As far as the used cars department, Infiniti currently sitting at 71 units. 108 is what we were at in 2019. Acura is sitting at 126 with 108 versus 2019. We're excited. I think with the expansion of our depots and being able to get these vehicles retailed and to market quicker, we have a neat opportunity to increase used car sales in both stores. We have done a nice job with looking for opportunities for new car guests that come in, and we have actually done a nice job switching them to used and certified pre-owned. I think with the new one point of contact, the depot center, once that opens and is active, I think that's going to get our vehicles to market faster, which will give us more opportunity to have a velocity model when it comes to retailing units. So I'm excited for that. Both areas with COVID and obviously some of the market-driven conditions, we were down on units in both locations, but I truly feel that once we get some of these other pieces in place and we get through this COVID situation, I do believe that 2021 will be a much better year in volume for both new and used vehicles. Service and parts. Infiniti last year for service, gross before expenses, through November this year, gross sales is $247,637 versus $376,385 for where we were in 2019. Acura service, $430,087 versus $540,000 in 2019. Infiniti parts, currently sitting $283,056. For 2019, we were at $333,070. Acura parts, $235,881 versus $334 even. So Areas of opportunity, I understand that, as I stated before, the company's policy, and I'm sure you heard it on John's video, they are really making a hard push for service and fixed to make some significant ground and gains in 2021. I'll cover that in a little bit, but I'm going to lean heavily on the fixed ops in the service world, the parts world, because that is a part of our business that continues to grow, and that can weather some of these storms as far as COVID and some of these other things that are come out of, I guess, are unexpected. In the variable side, there's a lot more ebb and flow as far as those vehicles being retailed, where in the service side, people always need their vehicle serviced. They always need to have tires. They always need to have parts for their vehicles. And this year especially, the company has driven and has asked me to drive our teams to certain metrics in order to make sure that service department does everything that they can to add to the bottom line and to add to the overall growth of the store. Very cool highlight, and I'm sure everybody at all the stores know, but we did achieve the Best Dealership Award at both Acura and Infiniti this year. And absolute hats off to each and every one of you. The award is based off of how you feel every day when you come to work, how you're treated, how we treat our guests, and the community involvement that we have with our team, with our community. Acura finished number 3 out of 100 dealerships, and Infiniti finished number 7 overall out of 100. So congratulations. This award came to me, and my name got mentioned. But in all honesty, this award is 100% for you, and you should be very proud of that. That is something that not many dealerships can say that they've achieved this year, and I am beaming. That has been one of my highlights this year, that both locations did exceptionally well on that survey. So thank you very much. Where did we finish for JFB CFSI? Each store achieved the award 4 times in 2020. This is another focus that is going to be weighed heavily on in 2021. As far as our manufacturers were concerned, for both Acura and Infiniti, we did achieve the CSI metrics for our awards. Obviously for 2021, both of those awards were suspended due to COVID. But had the award taken place this year, we would have achieved it at both locations. So again, fantastic job for everybody there. So that was just kind of a little wrap up on where we were in 2020. I don't want us to dwell on 2020, but I want us to use the information and the challenges that we've seen in 2020 and build towards positivity and looking for those opportunities in 2021. So how are we going to get there? New cars for Acura. The budget that I have set up is for an increase in both new and used for both Acura and Infiniti. The goals that I have for 2021, for new cars for Acura, we're anticipating to sell 250 units. Infiniti, we're looking at 92. Used car for Acura, 162, and Infiniti, 110. With an F&I target of $1,600. So again, that's going to take everybody at the team. That's not just going to take my sales team. That's going to take my service and fixed ops personnel. If you know that people are in for service and you know that they're looking for a high item repair or a high bill repair, I don't want to pull money out of the service team, but ultimately, if we know that the best bet for them may be to possibly look at a newer used vehicle, I'm asking for our team to work together and to introduce those folks to our sales advisors, to a team lead, to really maximize that opportunity. It will take all of us to get to where we need to be next year, and that's just an area of opportunity where I think that collectively for the new and used car volume piece, where we can achieve and get a little bit stronger than we were in 2020. And then the other part of 2021 is the CSI. I know you heard it quite a bit from John's message. We fell off. We kind of dropped a little bit in the CSI world. We came out of COVID, and there was an initial month or two of COVID and having some weird scenarios with vehicles and not being able to talk to our guests and interact with them. And we saw a dip in CSI. John and Tim, their number one priority above and beyond everything for 2021 is getting us back to CSI relevancy, and that starts at the store. I was in a meeting this week, and one of the things that came up that helped remind me on how people achieve good CSI was kind of going back to the basics and making sure that we're, and in each and every opportunity that we have with the guests, that we're trying to do everything we can to make it a memorable and outstanding experience. Tim reminded me of the 4 T's. The first T is trust. Your team and your personnel that you work with and the folks and the guests that come into our store, if they don't trust us, they're not going to want to continue to doing business with us. How do you earn trust? It's following through with things that we've asked, going above and beyond, explaining things, making sure that, there aren't any surprises when a guest comes in for an auto sale or for service work. The second T is transparent, making sure that every guest that walks through our door understands what is going on and has full transparency. In the old car world, 5-10 years ago, it was not such, and it was not, transparency was a dirty word. Now it's the only way that we choose to do business, and it's the only way that we're going to achieve those goals, and it's truthfully the only way that our guests are going to want to come back and continue doing business with us. Time's a big one. That's the third T. Making sure that we are valuing those people's time. In today's world, think of your own life. Very often, if you need something, you jump on your phone and you order on an Amazon, and you're disappointed if that item isn't in your store or in your house within two business days. The days of us setting up deliveries and not following through with time, or making sure that their car is not ready, or service appointments that when we tell them their vehicle is going to be done in a half an hour and it shows up on their doorstep 45 minutes instead of a half an hour, that is a key area that we need to improve on, and we need to make a focal point for 2021 in order to help with our CSI scores. So again, if you have a time set with a guest on some sort of an appointment, if that appointment time is not completed on time, we fail as a dealership, and I fail as a leader. So we need to work together. I'm very confident that we can make that a priority for 2021. But again, if guest time is valuable, and if we can't respect that time with the guests, it makes it very difficult for them to trust us, to have transparency. And then the final T ties in also, which is a tailored experience. Making every guest that walks into our store feel like this experience is tailored for them. If you have a guest that needs more time on the service or the sales end walking through their vehicle, you take that time. If you have a guest that wants to come in and only spend 10 minutes on the delivery, you take 10 minutes and you move forward. Same thing with service, making sure that we're doing everything that we can to explain to these guests, and to value their experience while making it an individual experience with them. So, service, as I said before, that's the number one focus in addition to the CSI. Those are the two big ones for 2021. Our net to gross targets in service, they want a 20% net to gross for service with a 44% net to gross in parts. So how are we going to get there? That's an opportunity and a question that I typically get. For the service size, it's doing MPIs 100% of the time. It's digital quotes at 45%. Technician videos, that is something that you're going to hear moving forward and is going to be an expectation. So if we're not comfortable doing videos for our guests now, we might as well start practicing, because that is kind of the wave of the future and where we're going to get. Nothing builds those 4 T's, as I mentioned before, than an actual tailored experience and the ability for a technician to go underneath the vehicle, point out an air filter in real time, do a Google chat, do a Google FaceTime, and be able to ask that guest for that business. That is the world that we live in, and if we're not comfortable with that, it's time to start practicing now, because I can assure you that's a direction that the company's going, and that is something that the expectation will be that we start completing those each and every time with our guests, to again make sure that they get the full benefit of the service experience at both Infiniti and Acura. So also full shop, that's another part of it, getting to 90% fixed coverage, allowing for more afternoon availability, special parts, recalls, having those items done in the afternoons, scheduling appointments, having sales schedule their first appointment. Nothing builds that trust and builds that communication with our service team more than that initial excitement that the guest has when they first purchase a vehicle. So use that excitement, walk them over to service, making sure that they take care of that guest, making sure that they're introduced to the service team if possible, because that builds that relationship and wants them to come back to our location through there. And then also, making sure that the technician hours that we have available, or the techs are working the hours that are available in X time and that are scheduled. Making sure that if we have a technician here, they're able to work versus scheduling, times where, the guest isn't able to get into the store because our technician isn't on the clock, based off of those hours. So mirroring those two up to making sure that they're effective. Last thing I want to cover is just some of the manufacturer news and where we're at for 2021. Both brands have vehicles that are coming out in 21, 22, and 23, so I'm pretty excited about that. The newest one for Infiniti, we've got the QX55, and that'll be here in spring in 21, with an all-new refresh on the QX60, hopefully the fall of 21. With hopes with their brand with a total model refresh by 2023. So a lot of exciting stuff. As I said before, getting these basics down now and making sure that we're ready to roll when this new product arrives. For Acura, the TLX arrived this winter, so that has been a big hit so far. We've done very well with that unit. And then we also have our MDX, which is arriving in spring of 21, which has already seen a lot of publicity as well as excitement driven to our store. Their entire lineup should be refreshed by 2022. So, as I said before, and I started off this call, we've got a lot of opportunity in every department, but the nice thing is that we have a lot of momentum and a lot of wind at our sails for the next year. And it's just a matter of getting back to basics. This team is absolutely amazing. Each one of you do a fantastic job in your roles, and I wouldn't change you for the world. I believe in that you trust each other to be able to do jobs. It's an ethical work environment, and I know that you make it fun. I'm excited because now we're finally starting to get the product in the two brands, where now our talents can really shine. But the other side of it is the spotlight's on us. We didn't have a fantastic year in either of the two brands, and it's kind of an opportunity now with the product coming in and these new tools that we have in place to really make sure and make a lot of noise in 2021. So last but not least, some very, very important anniversaries. We've got 2 5-year anniversaries between the two stores. Sarah Moore, congratulations for your 5 years for being with the company. For those of you who aren't familiar, Sarah Moore is the service manager over at Acura. She does a fantastic job. She started with us in F&I actually, and when I arrived 3 years ago, we moved her into the service field, and she's done an absolutely outstanding job. But if you see her today, please wish her a happy 5-year, and we appreciate everything that she does. And then the other one is at Infiniti is Justin Halleck. Justin Halleck is celebrating his 5-year today, or this year. He has been with the company for 5 years, been in the sales and F&I role, and now currently is a team lead / F&I over at Infiniti. So again, Justin has done a nice job with the team. He has helped drive our numbers in the F&I department and auto sales at Infiniti the last several months, and I'm excited to see where we go for 2020, 21. Almost said 22. So, all right. So last but not least, and I know I've said it a couple times, just thank you. Thank you all for the efforts that you've done in 2020. I am privileged, I am honored, and I am truthfully very humbled being your leader and being able to direct such a really neat group of people. I hope that each of you have a safe and happy holiday season. Take some time, enjoy it with your family. You all have deserved it. But thank you for being on my team. I know that in this world, there's a lot of opportunities out there, but I am truthfully very excited and very happy with everybody that I have on my team, and I thank you, and I thank you for making your departments run well. I thank you for taking great care of our guests, and I thank you for truly living up to the Bergstrom Automotive mantra of making a world-class experience while treating everybody like family. So I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I am extremely excited for 2021. I am ready to make a lot of noise. I think both of these brands have a lot of things going for them. So thank you very much. You all have a wonderful holiday season, and let's go kill 2021. Thank you.